Jake, believe it or not, these wins bring me 1,000 times the satisfaction any 12-2 beatdown ever could. And I don't know about you, but I mean, I like to, especially, I'm a gamer, so are you. When you play sports games, you want to beat someone 50-0. It's fun. But the way the Yankees have been playing all year, sorry, I got something screaming, Jake, in my ear right now. You got to be kidding me. Oh, for the love of God, YouTube. Appreciate it. But the context for the Yankees is that they win games 11-1. Like, we've seen that before. I've read that book. I know the ending of it. Great. You win 11-1. We talk about run differential. And then you guys get into a 1-1 game in extra innings and you guys crap the sheets. You don't know what to do, how to run the bases, how to execute with runners in scoring position. The rest is history. And guys, I know a lot of you want to hear who's winning this jersey giveaway. This is about 2 minutes away, so we can't wait to announce this winner. So that will be for a custom Yankees jersey. So again, we wanted to thank you guys for 10,000 subscribers. It came and went very quickly. I know, Jake, we do a nightly show. So I know we're both very proud of this. Our audience has been great, and we couldn't be happier. So thank you guys a ton. But Jake, this is a perfect day for the Yankees. So you were just talking pre-show that this could have went sideways, right? The Yankees win 5-3 in extra innings over the Chicago White Sox. Not a great team, but the Toronto Blue Jays lost again to a really good Milwaukee team. You've talked all day long. All week you've been talking about how good Milwaukee plays against teams over 500. Thank goodness. They win 4-1. Boston was taken out back today. I think Dustin May pitched that game. He certainly did. 10-3 at the hands of Pittsburgh. Thank you, Pittsburgh. I don't know if Tommy Pham did anything today, but we'll take anything we can get. The Bombers are now up a full game and a half over Boston, and that's going to matter when we play them. These games are all going to be important. We are just 2 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays, who, at this point, Jake, you called it a few days ago. You said that Toronto is going to free fall. That was your prediction.
Yes.
Right now, it feels a lot like that. They're losing a ton of ground. We're going to talk about it. Cam Schlittler proved yet again, and he's just an absolute psychopath. I mean, he literally looked a hitter in the face today and was like, F you. In the 6th inning in Chicago. So if you want to know what type of dude he is, that's the type of fire he's bringing, and it's not out of control. It is as serious as it gets. You would never know he was a rookie. He took a line drive off the forearm today. Didn't stop him at all. 6 full innings. He gave us some length there. 4 hits, 1 earn, 1 walk, 8 Ks. He's going to miss bats. He's got some of the best stuff you've ever seen. And at first glance, Jake, I said Cam Schlittler, he needed to work on that slider. I didn't like that pitch at all. I just came out and said it. That fastball we knew is electric. It's a show. The curveball was the pitch. I said that pitch right there, you can put that, hang that in a museum somewhere, but you're going to need a third pitch to be a premier pitcher in this league. He brought out that cutter. He unveiled that. That cutter has been dynamite, and I absolutely love to see it. I wanted to take a second here to give Shane Smith on the other side some props. He looked really good on the mound. They've got a young arm over there. I don't know what they're going to do with him. Certainly he'll probably be sent somewhere that actually matters, but obviously wish him the best. Jazz goes the other way in extras. We're going to talk it. Cody Bellinger, he talked recently about pulling out the sand wedge or a 9-iron. Baseball's like golf to him. Huge hit. Huge. We're going to talk about the bunt from Anthony Volpe ahead of Ryan McMahon. But Jake, I want to discuss this giveaway because we do, and if you guys haven't subscribed to Yankees Unloaded, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. I know we're already at 10K. You're not going to be able to get involved in that giveaway, but still, we would love to have you back. But here is the moment you guys have been waiting for. Our jersey winner is Mark Ferraro. And if you are here listening to our podcast tonight, I'm not sure if you're with us. However, be sure to shoot me a DM. We'll get all your information. We will send you this jersey. You'll let us know exactly the type of jersey you want. Home, road. If you want Marcus Stroman's name on the back of it, you let us know. If you want your name on the back, we'll make that happen. But Jake, our prompt is Aaron Boone leading a great comeback or a Mirage. And I'm saying, Jake, there's a shot here. I can't believe I'm saying this. Still haven't done anything against great teams, but these games are still really important. But I think the most important thing here, Jake, is how they won this game. How did you feel about the style of which we won this game?
Yeah, I thought this was very just fun to watch. It was a very how do I word it? I mean, I felt very satisfied. Like Jazz Chisholm spraying a ball opposite field, probably the best at bat he's had all season long. And it just
that, huh?
The thing about this game is it encapsulates that this isn't bullshit. This is not bullshit. You now have a 7-game win streak. And Gary, this is what happens. You score a lot of runs, right? You win 6 straight. I don't care if you're playing the White Sox or you're playing the Dodgers. Holding on to each win when you string together win streaks, it's what makes it tougher. Each win makes the next game tougher, right? There's more on the table here, okay? And so the reality of the situation is that the Yankees did not have the bats today. They only had 3 hits for the majority of this game. They had incredible, and I feel bad for the guy. He doesn't have, I don't even think he has, maybe 1 win, Cam Schlittler, who, by the way, is untouchable in my mind, not trading him for anybody. He will be potentially the ace down the road. He is that good. It's time for us to stop, flirting around. No. Put him up there with the mids. He's literally on that level. I do believe he's proving he's going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball for years to come. But anyway, back to the point. They could not give him any run support today, right? They're up 2-1. Devin Williams blows the game. I will defend Devin Williams here. There's been many times where that same hit is gobbled up. So it's so funny to me how this positional, defense and how they shift all the time. They weren't in the position that time. It seems like they're always in the position. But anyway,
that's true.
That's what I wanted to say about Devin Williams. I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I just wanted to be fair because normally that is gobbled up and that is an out. Anyway,
that's fair.
The way I see it is this. This is more impressive than just about any win they've had at any point this season because they're carrying the load of a 6-game win streak. They didn't know maybe, but everybody lost. I mean, everyone lost. The Red Sox lost. Toronto lost. Seattle lost. The Astros lost. Hell, everyone lost that has anything to do with the Yankees and the AL. Great day. But it would have been an absolute tragedy if they didn't take advantage of it. Tragedy. And I don't care it's the White Sox. So now you're playing a team that has a bunch of young players, like a Kyle Teal that's called up, like a Lenine Sosa, right? We're talking about those guys, Mydroth, whatever. These guys are playing for more than pride. They're playing to try to be a part of this team moving forward, right? They're trying to show, hey, we're the future here in Chicago, right? So you're going up against that team. This is a close game. You have the blown, not a save, but you blow the game. It's 2-2. This team has shown no ability to score outside the long ball. A home run from Wells, a home run from Judge. Well,
I'm
Gary,
glad
what
you're
happens?
saying this.
What happens? Well, the typical, the Yankees are going to lose this game. We all saw it, right? We all saw it. The Yankees go into extra innings, and on the road, they show the graphic every time. Hey, at home, they're basically invincible. On the road, they basically are the worst road team in extra innings. And sure enough, they are not able to score. They have Austin Wells thrown out at home. And right then and there, not just me, everyone, every Yankee fan was like, we're losing this game. When Austin Wells went on the first sign of contact, losing this game. However, David Bednar came through, who is the closer. And it shows you, even though he wasn't in the most comfortable role, because he's used to closing games, end of story, this is the game over, he was able to come in and give him 2 innings and do a really nice job. That was not easy. He was towing the line. They got out of it. But here's the thing. The Yankees, when they had to, played a brand of baseball that everyone has been begging them to play. Cody Bellinger with the single to left, knocking Grisham in, right? Huge at that point. Now, keep this in mind, right? You had, and I didn't agree with it because Ryan McMahon should have been pinch hit for, not Ben Rice. But that's neither here nor there.
What'd you think of the bunt, by the way? I promise you, I got 2 emails sitting in my... I have no idea how people got the email. They emailed me, why would we bunt there? My mom texted me, why would we bunt there? Now, I was curious to know what you thought about it, because the problem people had with it, I know the broadcast covered it and they said, well, Chicago's coming up in the bottom half. They're going to have a runner at second base, so you almost make the assumption they can score that run, and they eventually do. But having said all that, you make that assumption that they're going to score, so why bunt over to try and get and manufacture one run? Now, I didn't have a problem with the bunt. Me personally, I didn't. My problem was having Ryan McMahon obviously taking the at-bat in that position. He put the ball on the ground in the first pitch. He's not the type of hitter you want to really set up with a man on third base in less than 2 outs. But having said that, what were the alternatives, though? Because the alternative was Anthony Volpe swings away and risks an unproductive out. What happens after that? We definitely don't score. So that's really what I thought about it. Did I think McMahon did he do a terrible job in that moment?
Awful.
Yes.
Terrible.
Wells, on the other hand, at third base, not his fault. He was told by his third base coach what they're going to be doing. The second he gets over to third base, they'll whisper in your ear, we're going on contact. Whether or not that's the right play or not, I tweeted it wasn't. But once you get over there, you're almost really praying once the ball's put on the ground. I mean, my prediction, I said you should just leave him there. If the ball's on the ground with the infield in, Austin Wells is not beating it out. They're not throwing a ball away. There's no pressure on that play. It's just not the right play. But thankfully, Jake, the Yankees found ways, just as other teams do. When they win games like this, they don't play a perfect game. They do the right thing when they have to do it. And that's what's so different about today's game. You mentioned that everyone lost. There was a ton of pressure on the Yankees not to throw this game away the way they normally do. They found a way. Dudes were spraying the ball the other way. Jazz took some ugly swings today. I think Apex sent me a message. Where'd the 70% swing go? What did we see less than 10 minutes later? The 70% swing, it was the biggest swing of the day. Huge.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, I will say, because, I saw some comments, well, man, you guys are sure negative for a team that's won 6 straight. Well, no, we're always gonna analyze it. There are good things and bad things in life. We're not going to just only talk about the good things, and we're not only going to just talk about the bad things, which you guys know, because people that watch our show, we don't have to tell you this. But anyway, McMahon hitting instead of Stanton, like, how do you not pinch hit Stanton there? I don't get that. I don't get I really don't understand.
No, I hear you. There were certainly things that Boone did today where you're just like, it's a head scratcher. But then also, I thought the biggest choice of the day, in my opinion, was leaving Bednar in that game for a second inning. I thought that was the biggest choice that he made.
For that.
Huge. And I know people will say, I thought it was the obvious choice. It's easy to say that in hindsight, and maybe you guys were tweeting it, maybe you were in your group chat, you were saying it, and we understand that, but these are big choices. You can send Bednar out there in the second inning. He may not have had it. He had it. David Bednar has been big time for the Yankees. He just has been. But I don't want to just gloss over Cam Schlittler. I want to dive back into what he did before we get over to our super. So, Michael, we really appreciate it. So, Jake, here's it's really not even a prediction at this point. I'm looking at the crystal ball here and what the Yankees have in Cam Schlittler. I think if you look across baseball, you can find stuff. You can find it, right? Whether it be, Chandler over there in Pittsburgh, whether it's Paul Skeens. There are a lot of guys in this league that throw 100 miles an hour. We've seen it, right? He came up in this league. He was drafted 91, 92. A lot of the scouting reports that at least we've read, right? Because we didn't know a ton about him, but we knew him. Yeah. And it's 91, 92, up to 93. And when you see that type of stuff, you say, okay, well, probably a back end of the rotation guy that is going to have to fool players. Like, he's going to have to fool hitters, and it's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of craft. You're going to call him a craft pitcher in this game, the way it's going. And all of a sudden you get the uptick, 5, 6, 7 miles an hour on the fastball. But I mentioned last episode, what type of guy are you? You can't be an ace in this game. You can't. If you don't have the mentality of an ace, if you're not a bulldog. Cam Schlittler looks like one of the meanest dudes on the mound that I've seen. The composure's there. The attitude's there. I'm not worried about him at all in October. I'm not. Could it go?
No,
could it go left? Sure. It's very difficult to pitch in October under the bright lights against the best teams, Jake. But am I worried about his confidence level? Am I worried about his preparation? Am I worried about what he's going to bring out there and suddenly the game's going to start moving too fast? I'm not worried about Cam Schlittler at all. I think he's got the fastball. I think he's got the location. He's got the makeup to be an ace for any team in baseball, not just the Yankees. So I'm excited to see what he does, not in the future. I'm excited to see what he does in 2025 in October, because I think teams, when they look up and they say, yeah, Garrett Cole may be gone, but Cam Schlittler may be able to be a little hybrid, little mini Garrett Cole there. Not all the way, because it's obviously just his first season and he's not as polished, but Jake, he's got the makeup to be devastating for the opposition.
I completely agree. I mean, I was watching this guy. This is, and I want to reinforce this. This is exactly why I am wanting to give the prospect a shot. Because there are guys like Schlittler out there. And I'm not saying your whole farm system has them. And it's kind of like what you and I were saying. When you have, and it's a good problem to have, like an actual good problem to have. When you have like 8 starting pitcher prospects that are all valuable, you don't have 8 rotation spots. You have 5. So now you have a lot of trade ammo. So you have to pick and choose. And keep this in mind. You have 3 major contracts: Cole, Rodon, and Fried. So you have 3 guys already locked in next year for the 5.
Yep.
Schlittler might be better than all 3 of them in 2 years. He's that good. And my thing is that when you get a hold of this guy, like it's funny, I still see it on Twitter. Oh man, I think, we could package Schlittler and get some. Why? Why would you ever trade somebody like this?
Yeah.
Because guess what? It's not just
of course
he's
they didn't
talented.
see that. Of course, they didn't get to see what we're starting to see down the road. Because we keep in mind some of the people, Jake, just sort of defend them. Mm-hmm. Some of those people got to see Cam Schlittler, right? The pitcher where you're saying, hey, that slider, if you remember, they were saying he's playing around a little bit too much with the cutter. They were talking about a few starts ago. The slider he was using all the time. If you remember, when he first got to the big leagues, he loved to use the get me over slider. This is one of his favorite pitches. I'm going to throw the backdoor slider. He was just overthinking pitching at the big league level. And when you've got 100 miles an hour in your back pocket, when that's located, you can just throw that 0-0. It doesn't matter if they know it's coming. And he's starting to learn that. It's not taking him a year and a half to do it, Jake. He's learning it in just a few starts, and it's no longer a problem. So it should tell you what you need to know about this guy. And it's not easy to do this. You'd think it was, right? I see Scotty Boy in the comments here, who's a member of ours. So Scotty, thank you. Says not sold on heel. It's not easy to make these adjustments. It seems like, they're wild, so just throw more strikes. There's all types of game planning that goes into what causes you to walk a ton of hitters. It just is. So Cam Schlittler, in my opinion, you talked about having somebody in your system, because this is a player that's coming out of our system. People say the Yankees can't develop talent. Well, what's that? Cam Schlittler was a 92 mile an hour guy. They flip him over to Matt Blake, but you also have to give credit to the guys down below where you say, how did you turn that into this? It's interesting.
I'm going to push back on this, and this is really what allows me to feel like Cam Schlittler is the real deal.
Okay.
Luis Heel looks like when things aren't going well, you can see it on his face. Cam Schlittler has a poker face 24/7. Like, this dude is so calm, cool, collected, but he also looks like one badass motherfucker. Like, you don't want to mess with him. He doesn't care. You said it earlier. The whole FU thing. He doesn't care.
He's on there. Pitchers like that where it looks like, you gave up 3 runs in the first inning of a postseason game. It looks like it. I can look at your face. It looks like you were punched in the mouth.
Yeah, he looks like Rodon after he went like monk mode, remember?
Yes.
He looks like Rodon, but he also looks like Cole. And he has like the craft of Fried. He's like a combination of the three best pitchers in this rotation. And so I think in 2 years, Schlittler is going to be the ace of this team. He's going to.
Yeah, depending on, I guess who comes through the door, you never know who could be available. But
that's true.
I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. There's no reason. Cam Schlittler has everything, and things are so unpredictable in this game. And we've seen guys obviously have flash in the pan performances. They give you half a year. Nothing's set in stone, and obviously you're fully aware of this. But there's an adjustment, because I see a lot of comparison to Garrett Cole, and I want people to realize something. Garrett Cole started his career with Pittsburgh, right? And everyone understands this. The Yankees had a choice. What do? Do we trade for Garrett Cole from Pittsburgh? They wanted Clint Frazier and I can't even remember whoever else. And the Yankees said, we're not going to do that. It's just too much value to give up. He goes to Houston. Now, what made him so much better when he went to Houston? Do you guys know the big change that he made? He got rid of the loopy slider. He went to a hard slider. Who does that remind you of? Cam Schlittler. Cam Schlittler got rid of the slider. It still exists. He will spin it up there every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's a wrinkle. The pitch he uses now is that cutter. It's a 92-mile-an-hour. It is a slider. Joe Girardi covered it on the broadcast today. He said, that was a cutter? That has the depth of a slider. It's because it is a slider. That's why. So the actual adjustment that he made, there's no reason for me to slow it down when that's the pitch I miss with, more times than not, and it's damaged. So what Cam Schlittler learned is if I go away from that pitch, not completely, but for the most part, and go to this cutter, I'm missing the barrel of bats. I'm getting ahead of guys with foul balls, and just obviously I have swing and miss stuff, and I can put them away with that curveball and an elevated fastball. So Cam Schlittler, to me, is no doubt in my mind, in 2 years, he'll be a better arm than even a Rodon, and that's saying something. We have something here, and I'm very excited. So maybe Mark, with this jersey, he might get maybe a little Cam Schlittler jersey. Who knows?
Yeah, and Cam already, it's not like he's in the 90s, so this is likely the jersey that he's going to keep. And
what number is he?
Isn't he 31?
He is 31. That's correct.
Yeah. How about that? That's a cool number.
Let's get to our supers, though.
You know who wore 31?
Who wore 31? No, hold on. Ichiro?
Yes.
Is that who you were going with?
Yes.
Yeah, Ichiro.
Dude, I don't know why I loved Ichiro in 31. Mm-hmm. Loved it.
Did you really? I had a hard time. I love Ichiro. But I just had a hard time.
On the Yankees, to be fair.
I know, but I wanted him in his prime.
He couldn't wear Bernie Williams' number.
No.
Because Randy Johnson wanted to wear 51, and they're like, no. So he wore 41.
Yeah, that's fair. And Michael McDonald with the 5. Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate it. Says, let's go 10K and an extra innings win in one night. Yeah, we don't normally get these extra inning wins. So savor it. Enjoy it. Volpe is on a 3-game hit streak. What more can we ask for? No Boone tonight. Congrats, dude. So is it Boone Cakes?
Boone Cockies.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Get
off the internet, Michael. So Michael, let's first of all, thank you. We really appreciate it. We're very excited about the 10K. We obviously we want it to grow even faster. We were literally just talking about what our goals were pre-show of where we're going to be at the end of next year. And we have lofty goals. So we really appreciate all of you for being here, obviously, since day one.
25K by the end of next year. Boom.
There you have it. So we get to 10K, great day. Extra inning win, even better. Volpe's on a 3-game hit streak. I know people are saying, well, I'm not going to draw a conclusion about this. It's Chicago, and you're right. But if he wasn't getting hits against Chicago, we'd be talking about Caballero. But nobody in our comments, and I'm reading our chat, no one's freaking out about Caballero as of now, right? They maybe will 2 days from now. But the point is Volpe has to get credit for doing something well. And that's what we're doing. But as we go into the Houston series and we go into these series, we need to see what he does in these big games. His glove is going to be the most important thing. He's got to field his position. So I don't think there is really any remix to what could have happened today. Jake, I thought it was a what you would call a perfect day, given how bad our offense was for about half of it.
Yeah. No, I thought today, again, the offense sucked for most of the day, right? What I love, though, is that it's no different than what we've seen. Judge and Wells, homer. That's the entire offense. But when push came to shove, can you be the Yankees that everybody wants you to be? And they answered the bell. Bellinger, single to left. Jazz Chisholm hits it to left. Volpe hits it opposite field. And you end up getting some runs out of that. And I thought that was really key and critical because obviously taking the lead, no doubt about it, in the 11th was huge, right? But it didn't feel like the win. It felt like you could win, but it didn't feel like the win. You see Doval. I like Doval. I believe Doval is worth building up, working with. Don't just get rid of him. But Doval is a lot better when he sees 5-2 on the scoreboard of a lead than he is 2-2 or 3-2.
Oh, no doubt. Because he's pitching for the most part.
Yeah.
He does miss bats, but his bread and butter is that cutter. The ball's in play. So
he got to be a closer today, though. So that was the good thing.
Yeah, that was nice.
But yeah, the ground out to second, I know the runs scored and whatnot, but that was fine. I want to ask you something. Watching the game today, especially in the extra innings, is it crazy for me that I wanted them to intentionally walk almost the bases loaded? Because now think about it. When there's one out, right? A base hit is going to end the game regardless.
Yep.
So wouldn't you want a double play potential there? You know what I'm saying? Because the guy's already on third.
Yeah, I thought about it. No, I definitely thought about it, but because you're talking about when the tying run being on third base, right? Is that what you're discussing?
Yeah, especially when there's one out. So
yeah, I understood.
Anything in the outfield, game over.
Yeah, no, I completely understood it. I didn't like it at the time, but they clearly put a ton of trust in the swing and miss. They got it, and it worked. And in hindsight, you just live with it because that's what we've been focusing on, isn't it? We've been talking about the results. I know it looks ugly, but if the Yankees were getting results, I don't think people would be in our comments. People wouldn't be in anyone's comments. No podcast going, yeah, this team just can't win this team is just the way they play extra innings, but they'd say, but we're winning them. Who cares?
Almost 600 concurrent viewers after a win. We don't normally see that. After a win.
It means something. So what it means is 600 people aren't in our comment section going, oh yeah, we're just all on the train of that we're winning this division. No, some people think that, and other people think that we're just going to get knocked right down on our ass. Again,
Willie Downer.
Right, which is completely fine.
Yeah.
Because you know what's still going to be played next week, regardless of what we all feel? Those games. They all exist. True. We're going to watch them. And if they lose, we'll cover that. If they win, then Willie Downer, you better be the biggest cheerleader we've seen. But obviously, we're just joking with you. We really appreciate you being here.
Yes, of course.
Apex says the 10th and 11th innings show how we beat the Astros. So this is a premise I can get behind. You're not going to beat the Astros. This is a contender. You're not beating them 6-1 for the whole series. It's not happening.
No.
You're not going into Boston at Fenway. Really same deal here, Apex. Same deal. You're not going into Fenway and beating them 3. You're not going to go into 3 games and be up by 4 and you can bring in a closer with low leverage. Not going to happen. You're going to find yourself in this exact situation, more than likely the 8th or 9th. And what are you going to do about it? Are you going to execute? Are you going to actually deliver? I want to give Volpe some props for actually getting the Bunt down, by the way. At least what you're trying to do, you actually succeeded at what you did. So that's what I was
pretty,
after.
But,
It wasn't pretty, but I'm past the aesthetics of it.
Oh, yeah.
Get it done. He tried to do it. He executed. It didn't work. Ryan McMahon ended up being behind him. So if you want to critique him, have it be about the McMahon hitting behind him. But yeah, Apex could not agree more. And getting ahead of myself here, Nightwing Troll 101, hell of a name. Thank you for the 10. Says, congrats on reaching 10K. Discovered you guys last season. Looking for a Yankees channel to watch. You guys are the best. Other channels are pretty sensationalist. Appreciate the lack of cringe. Really appreciate that.
Appreciate it. I think that's the nicest troll I've ever seen. The hell?
Yeah, the trolls I'm familiar with just go against the grain no matter what you say.
I know.
They just scroll past what they agree with, or they post that stupid meme that hey, the worst person I know has said something I agree with. I'm like, you guys.
Or they just call you a trust fund kid. I feel like I see that all the time.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he said something smart. Where can we go with this? But
yeah,
Nightwing Troll, thank you for the 10. We really appreciate that. Thank you for the super. Apex says, Osama bin Williams nearly choked away our streak. Apex, I sent that picture you tweeted to me. I sent that to about 6 other people. It was hilarious. Absolutely. Jake, did I send that to you?
You did. I was cracking up.
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. So Apex, really appreciate it. And says, okay, fine, I will praise Volpe for now. There you have it. And I'm not telling you guys to be sold on Volpe. I'm not sold on him either. But when he does something well and he gets a knock 3 days in a row, he wants to bunt and it works. It executes, gets the guy over to third base, even if it's Austin Wells, and that's to be desired. At least he executed. Let's give him his flowers, at least for the day. And Jose, thank you for the 2, says Yankees are playing their schedule and winning. Let's go Yanks.
Love
Heck
it.
Yeah. I know, Jake, you're not a big buyer into our schedule is easy, so games are easy. You still got to go win those games. How are you feeling right now? Because I know you were the first person to talk about the schedule. Mm-hmm. How do you feel now that we're actually taking care of business against a weak schedule?
I mean, they're doing what they failed to do at the beginning of the year. They actually just did something they never do, which is win games on the road in extra innings. I'm feeling fantastic, honestly. And I don't care that it's the White Sox. I think this is the thing. I want you guys to take this away. They started this win streak with a win against Boston, okay? I don't care that Dustin May played, right, or pitched. They started it against Boston. That's not chopped liver. And they won 7-2. After that, they've won 10-5, 5-1, 11-2, 10-4, 10-2, and now 5-3. So they faced adversity again, and this time they won 5-3 in extras. The last loss they had was 12-1. Like the entire car just blew up, right? Before that, they lost 1-0, and before that, they lost a 6-3 game they should have won. Before that, they won 6-4 in extra innings. On the road, by the way. So now they're 2-0 in their last 2 extra inning games on the road. They won 13-3 against Tampa. They won 8-4 against St. Louis, 12-8 against St. Louis, 4-3 against St. Louis, all on the road, right? So the point being is that really, this isn't just they've won 7 straight. This is they've won 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of their last 15 games. I don't care who you play that's bad or good. 12 out of 15 tells me something is changing. And you know why, Gary? It's very simple. You go back and you look in the first half of the season when things started to kind of go awry, right? They lost to the freaking Angels at home. 3 out of 4 games.
Do you remember what people were telling us when we lost those games? They said the Angels, MLB Network, and God bless them, ran a special and said the Angels actually are holding their own. I'm like, are we kidding me?
Dude, I'm so tired of hearing that. It feels like anytime the Yankees lose to a bad team, you have to hear, oh, well, I don't care.
You guys don't give them their due. I'm like, I shouldn't.
The last time y'all told me this, and Marion knows, is that it was when the Jays won. Or not the Jays, the Marlins. And then they're like,
yes.
Yeah, the Marlins are playing really hot baseball. And yes, they were at the time. Well, where are they now? So I'm tired
go out there. The Marlins actually started their losing streak the second we left town.
Yeah.
The second we left town, they were like, all right, hey, boys, they're gone. They're
gone
Red
from
Sox
Miami. Got a nice little jolt from the series against the Yankees. And they do this every time. If you look at their schedule, after they play the Yankees, they win like 3 in a row. And then they start coming back down to earth. Because at the end of the day, the Red Sox are only feared because of how the Yankees play them. The Red Sox don't take care of business against bad teams. Look at freaking Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's beat them twice now.
Well, also, Boston's not good against good teams either. They're just really good against us. Against teams over 500, they're 500. That's a stat. It's not my opinion. But we're also over 500, and they've beat the brakes off of us. So Yankees fans, so far, the only team you should be worried about if we ran into a postseason series is Boston. But Boston doesn't get to play us every game the rest of the season. This is not how it works. We're sitting here in this series, and the series is still not over, by the way. Still have another game against Chicago. We get to go for the sweep and then go into Houston. And if we win those games in Houston, the rest of the league will know exactly what's happening before we ever even step foot at Fenway. Before we ever step foot, because those games at Fenway, they're going to be important. They always were going to be. But it's not going to be life or death. It won't be, because Boston has to pull weight now in these series against Pittsburgh, and they're not. So obviously we're very happy to see it. Keep losing. Alex Reyes with a 5, obviously a mod of ours. So Alex, we appreciate you doing so. Says, how off this season has been, I'm shocked we're down 1 game from the World Series favorite Dodgers. So
yeah,
what do you think? What do you think right now as far as, well, I guess I shouldn't even say what do you think we're going to do against the contenders. We don't really know the answer to that question. All we know is that something's changed. We don't know what that is. And I would actually be curious to know from our audience. Jake, and that's what I'm going to punt to you. What is different? Because this team failed in fundamentals. I like the moves that they made structurally to fix this problem, but they didn't, right? Volpe is having the worst year of his career defensively at shortstop. We didn't have a third baseman for half the year. Peraza was pretty good defensively. When he got out there, the bat was a noodle, right? We had problems with this team. We had no bullpen at one point, nobody to pitch. And we go into the deadline. They're super aggressive. They get a lot of good. Bednar, I would say, is great, but the rest's good. Bird is obviously a lemon, but we'll figure that out later. But the Yankees, if we get into important games, won't these type of games and them playing like this matter when we get to October? Because I feel, Jake, in previous years, we're just kind of hoping they're going to do something nice in the clutch. But right now, they're actually executing in the clutch in regular season games. So maybe, Jake, maybe doing this now will actually help develop the skill set by October. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's funny what we're looking at here, because it wasn't that long ago. And I mean, look, I'm still not like Boone is awesome. I never would have, no. But we were talking about Boone being fired. We were talking about DFAing Devin Williams, which I guess tonight might have people feeling that way. But overall, Devin Williams, since we said to DFA him, has been really good. He has.
Yep.
So then we're talking about, well, Austin Wells. Maybe you need to put him on IL because he doesn't have any feeling in his hands. And, you know, send Volpe down. Now Volpe's sitting well, right? And Jazz Chisholm, Jazz Chisholm came up big today, right? It feels like this team, I mean, I'm going to throw a name out there that you probably forgot. That's how long this season's been. Pablo Reyes. Pablo Reyes was on this team. Not only was he on this team, he was actually opening day ahead of Peraza on the depth chart. Mm-hmm. Pablo Reyes, we were begging for him to get off the roster. That's how long this season has gone. And now you see this iteration of the team, and you have a Caballero. You have Stanton back from injury, right? You got guys like, Slater, who he did really well in his rehab stint. We'll see if he keeps it up. You got Rosario. Schlittler's now in play. There's a lot of new faces that we didn't even think of at the beginning of the year. When we started talking about Schlittler potentially getting called up, that was when he was in AAA. He started the season in AA. I watched him in March in spring training give up a rocket ship. Now, he looked really good aside from that, but he gave up a rocket ship in spring training for a home run. Point being is, this is baseball. This is MLB 162 game a year baseball. there's always going to be new storylines. There's going to be unsung heroes. We've seen it. Oswaldo Cabrera in 2022 with Oswald Peraza. Last year, for a brief minute, it was Ben Rice, right? And Luke Weaver was an unsung hero. A guy who nobody was really thinking would be as important as he ended up being.
We don't sniff the World Series without Weaver. Not even a chance.
Mark Leiter Jr. was sensational in the World Series. No one would have saw that coming, right? Anthony Volpe hit 286 in the postseason. Who the hell would have thought that?
Big grand slam in the World Series.
This is baseball.
Yeah, it was one hit, but it's something. So, yeah, totally agree.
No, I bring it up because it's just, this idea we don't know who this team is. So That's why the winning 12 of the last 15, that matters. And more importantly, they're not just winning games, they're actually gaining ground quickly on Toronto. And you think Toronto right now has lost 2 straight, and they see the Yankees with that W7 in the streak column? You don't think right now they got it in their head like, oh shit, we got to get our stuff together?
They know the head-to-head, Jake. They know the head-to-head matchup is going to be.
And they have the tiebreaker.
Funeral. Yeah, which is fine, but they're not. They have to be looking at that series, saying, I mean, let's just go 4 days ago, right? 4 days in the past. The Blue Jays are probably thinking to ourselves, if we take care of business here, by the time the Yankees come to town, we don't have to be great. We can just be serviceable, take a game. Maybe they win the series. That's not going to do us in. But given the situation, what the Yankees are doing against the Cardinals and the White Sox and all these teams, what they're doing on this, what some people will say, this meaningless 7-game win streak, right? This they're not playing any great teams, but you mentioned one of those games was against Boston, but the point is they're beating bad teams. But I said last episode, they're applying pressure whether they're playing good teams or not. Those series in Boston, those series in Houston, all those teams know if we just get mollywopped by the Yankees, that may be our funeral service right there.
Yeah.
You can't have that happen, and it changes the dynamic, and the Yankees have momentum. That's the most important thing. Baseball is a game of momentum. Just is. The way you're playing walking into these series has to matter for something. Now, in hindsight, in that Boston series, it didn't seem to mean a whole lot. We were on a win streak heading to Yankee Stadium, and Boston came in and made basically quick work of us. It was a problem. So, like you said, we don't know who this team is. Alex with the super, the GOAT, thank you for the 5, man, says Bednar every time he has to come on. Oh, I read this earlier. This is hilarious. Come on in after Devin. It's like the janitor at Taco Bell after a customer comes out sweating, saying, brother, don't go in there. That is me. That's me. I'm the brother who comes out of the bathroom.
At Taco Bell? We got to get you away from Taco Bell.
Oh, no, I don't go to Taco Bell. No, so here's what I do. I go to Taco Bell. I go, this actually tastes pretty good. And I'm in the bathroom before I even leave the premises. I'm literally not even off campus, and I'm on the toilet. And then I'll forget. I'd probably say a year later, I totally forget what it did to me, and I go right back. Tastes good, and I'm right back in the bathroom. So
there's a reason
Alex,
for that.
I agree with you.
All the preservatives and all that bullshit.
Oh, you don't think it's organic stuff they're using over at Taco Bell in the Gordita Crunch?
Drew Thorpe said, Taco Hell.
Yeah, I almost feel like my stomach is callous at this point. I used to go to Chipotle like 5 days a week.
Callus in his stomach.
My body is just built different. So, Alex, we agree on Bednar. He is the ultimate mop-up man.
It's all good. Stomach plaque is okay.
Yep. And Herb, Wind, and Fire with
Love
the
that.
dollar sticker. Really appreciate that. Thank you for that. And Scott Ross, the GOAT, with the 5, says the best things Williams did was not melt down and limited the damage. That is true. He did keep his composure. He executed. Jake, just a few days ago, maybe a week ago, you mentioned after he got punched in the mouth once, all of a sudden he was in trouble, and he shut it down. I think it was like bases loaded. I think it was man on third and second with nobody out. And then all of a sudden you mentioned he just turned it on.
It's like what we talked about. I don't care if you give up 4 hits. If none of those 4 hits come across the plate, you did your job as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah. We called it, what do you call it? A Fernando Rodney outing? That's what it was. He did that again today. You limit the damage. Scott, as you bring up, there's value in limiting the damage. Devin Williams did that today. So obviously good on him. And Herb, Wind, and Fire back for more. Thank you for the 2. Says Cam has got so much potential. Excited for his future. Yeah, he's a jersey candidate. If you want to get a Yankees jersey, I think Ben Rice and Cam Schlittler are probably my options if I had to go with any.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I have Ben Rice because Juan Soto just converted to Ben Rice. So,
That's fair.
yeah. So I would probably go with Cam. I've never been so, because I like pitching. I know some people are like, I just want to watch hitting. Like, there are some people out there that are just, I just enjoy hitting. And I get it.
It's my grandma.
You don't want to watch the Yankees defense. So I understand that. Totally reasonable. But Cam Schlittler is must-see TV. Like, him pitching alone, it's like, Gary, like when you tell me, like, oh, you got to turn this on. This is Skeens versus The Miz, right? Jacob Mizorowski.
It's usually only Skeens I text you about. I'll text you every fifth day. Like, hey, did you see Skeens is pitching?
But the thing is, Skeens is must-see TV. That's where we're at with Cam. The only thing about Cam is he is yet to go like 7-8 innings, like Skeens can. But that comes with time, and I think the best thing for him was eliminating the sweeper. I mean, I think he still threw it like once or twice today, but no, it was pretty much all fastballs, fastballs, the cutter. He threw the curve 15, and then I think he threw the sinker over 10 times. So, yeah, the sweeper was not good. And the thing is, Cam is going to upgrade these pitches over the course of time, but this offseason, I expect him to take a huge leap forward. And he's already taking a huge leap forward. So just imagine where he's going to be at when he has 4 pitches that are actually effective. Because he's going to.
Yeah, we're looking when you mentioned the sinker, though, the sinker does, just like Max Fried, right? It induces contact for the most part.
Exactly.
If he wants to go deeper into games, maybe he implements the sinker, he polishes that pitch more.
That's
as time
exactly
goes on.
The point of having
But
a
I
sinker.
will say, just for the sake of length, I wouldn't go to it because it would be like Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole didn't work in a sinker to pitch to more contact. He didn't do that. Why didn't he do it? Because he has one of the best rides on his fastball that the game's ever seen. He's got one of the best sliders the game's seen. He has a changeup, right? But really, that 2-pitch mix is enough to dominate the league. Cam Schlittler doesn't have to be perfect in every way. We don't need 8 innings every time he goes out there. What Drew Thorpe says, side-to-side pitches are getting hit league-wide. Up and down pitches are king. Exactly. So this is sort of
completely.
When you're pitching to contact, there's so many elements involved. Jake, you've been raving for weeks now. Weeks. I don't know how your dad feels about it. About the shift. The shift, right? You hate the Yankee shift.
Hate it. No, my dad.
Well, you know what?
My dad hates it more than I hate it.
Perfect. You know what brings the shift into play even more? Throwing a sinker.
Yeah.
Because the ball's in play. There's nothing wrong with inducing a ground ball, but you know what's better than a ground ball? A swing and a miss. A swing and a miss. You don't have to go 3-2 and have 9 pitches to put someone away. No, you can go 1-2 and put them away with devastating stuff, which Cam Schlittler has. So going to a sinker just for the sake of getting the ball in play and going maybe a little deeper into games, I don't know if I would do it. So, yeah, Drew, I'm glad you brought that to our attention.
Yeah, no, that I love that. I love the ride he gets on that fastball. I think that's the big deal is that, you know, there are guys that can throw 103. But if you don't have any movement on the fastball, eventually there are guys that can actually hit that. Not everybody. But, I mean, remember Clase, you know, is going toe-to-toe with Anthony Volpe last year. I'll never forget the at-bat. And he's just throwing high heat, 102. Volpe serves it into right field, and they win the game. Like, that was huge. And that was like, what? Clase's untouchable. How the hell did he just do that? And he hit it off the wall, I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah, because when you throw heat like that, if I hit it and make good contact, that shit's going off the roof. I mean, like, you know, that's going to be easily over 100 miles an hour off the bat. So there you go.
Yeah, it's the importance of spin. Spin, especially on a 4-seam fastball. They talked about it with Will Warren at the beginning of this year. They said his 4-seam fastball, the numbers are dismal. What are you going to do to fix it? Well, he's improved the spin rate of it. And you're like, well, what the hell does that mean? Well, it's the exact same concept of Nestor Cortez. When Nestor Cortez pitched well for us, and this is obviously a few years back now, he would throw 92 and it's getting by guys. And you're like, how the hell are they late? How are they swinging underneath this pitch? Spin. Garrett Cole, I remember the sticky stuff when everyone was using that. There was an uptick of spin on all pitches across the league. Pitches were harder to get on top of. Fastballs were almost rising, right? Sliders were devastating, more control. And so the importance of spin. So Scotty Boy with the 2 says it was good to have a competitive game and a win. So obviously, Scotty, we really appreciate it. He agrees.
You, Scotty. Yeah.
Loves the fact that we had a competitive game there. I wanted to throw something up on the screen. It was from Extra Salty. It was about the remaining schedule, and I'm glad you're providing this. So again, guys, thank you for getting involved in our live chat. We're also paying attention to that as well. Wanted to throw you up on screen. Extra Salty says, according to Tankathon, Toronto has, the 6th most difficult series remaining? Boston has 4, and the Yankees have 4? Oh, okay, I see. Toronto has 6 difficult series, just in general. So Toronto plays us, Boston plays us. All right, so at least our takeaway here is that the Yankees, and we sort of knew this, our schedule is light in comparison to some of these other teams, right? In comparison to a Boston, in comparison to a Toronto. But you know what those teams also have that we don't have? Is pressure. They have a ton of pressure right now, and we've got momentum. So I'm excited. Extra Salty, thank you for putting that up there. And where was I? Oh, here we go. Herb, Wind, and Fire with the 2 says, when Williams came in, I thought we were cooked. Jake, how did you feel about that? Because you talked about the fact that Devin Williams, when we were calling for him to be DFA'd, and that he just was blowing game after game. I mean, he blew seemingly 6 to 8 games for this team. Did you think Devin Williams was going to survive this outing?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Wow.
Lately, Devin Williams seems like a different pitcher. He might not be like, Devin Williams of old, but he seems like somebody that's like, okay, I understand my limitations, and he's been getting the most out of it. I mean, he's striking out the side like every time he comes in lately. So, yeah, I'm a fan of Devin Williams. I want it to work out. He's incredibly frustrating at times, but I feel like as of late, he's been pretty good. And again, I don't think today's outing was as bad as people are going to make it out to be. But of course, I have the luxury of talking about it after a win. I might feel a little bit different after they lost.
That makes sense. Yeah, and by the way, guys, as my mom puts it here, and yes, she is a mod of ours, she says, why are there 133 likes and 544? There are 572 people actually in here. So please be sure to like this video. Helps us out in the algorithm a ton. It's a great way to help support our channel. Obviously, you being here is the most important thing, but liking the video, for whatever reason, YouTube makes it seem like you hate it if you don't do it. So really appreciate it. And Ross Brand with the 5, thank you, says Cam should be the most untouchable young player on the team or AAA. Ooh, interesting. Then Heel and Warren more than Jones and Dominguez, who are only hype at this point. So I'm going to start this off with a short answer. And Jake, I'm curious to know what you think about this, because I know already what you think of Jones. I also know what you think of Jason Dominguez, and you're not nearly as high on Dominguez as you are Jones. A lot of that has to do with the defense, right? He's a more polished player, but one hasn't hit the big league level. Now, if you look at these players and you talk about the players, when you say big league team or AAA, that's George Lombard Jr. aside. He's not even a part of this conversation. So really what it means is that he just thinks Cam Schlittler is a mainstay and there's not even a conversation to be had. I would agree with that. I would. I don't think there's any other way to put this. The Yankees have hit on this prospect. It's working, right?
Yes.
Barring injury, which every player has to deal with. The conundrum of how do I stay on the field? Cam Schlittler's no different. He's a human being. But other than that, from a performance standpoint, Cam Schlittler has everything. Makeup, talent. That's it. And he's playing on the biggest stage with a lot of veteran talent around him. Who's he going to be next year when Garrett Cole's actually on the mound and he's really a part of that? Who knows, man? But what do you think about this? Do you think that Cam Schlittler is even more of a priority to you than even a Heel? I know he's a bigger priority than Warren. We know that. Than even Jones or Dominguez? How highly, where do you stack him up as far as importance?
Cam Schlittler only is going to pitch 35 times maximum a year. whereas a position player is going to play 150 to 160 games, right?
Right.
So it's tough to say he's the most valuable. That's why I like the top pitching prospect in the minors. Like, okay, if he's the best, I get it, but there is...
Right.
That's actually part of my issue, and I understand why people want to trade for Skeens, but that's part of my issue of giving up all these position players for Skeens. I'd rather
because you
give up...
place a higher value on position players than pitchers. I agree with that. Go ahead.
So,
yep.
You know, obviously I'm not saying I wouldn't want Skeens, but it'd have to be something to play with. Like the Pirates would want position players, and I get that. But if I'm giving you Spencer Jones and I'm giving you George Lombard Jr. and I'm giving you Ben Rice, and it's like at some point or another, I don't know if I'm getting better when I get Skeens, right? So that's the really important thing for me. When I look at Schlittler, I think the most important guy in the organization right now, out of the young dudes, I think is Spencer Jones, because they have basically turned down everything. They've surprised me with how much they've turned down with Spencer Jones. Because, I mean, I have no doubt if they were willing to trade Spencer Jones that Joe Ryan is in this rotation. No doubt.
I actually agree with you. So the premise of position players being more important than a pitcher, we're as high on Cam Schlittler as you can be. We think he would be an ace in the average rotation across contenders. But given the depth of our rotation and just like, we've got some really good guys. Let's not pretend we don't. It's hard to be considered just the ace of this team. It is. Garrett Cole back, all that stuff going on. But I'm going to probably say if he performs and the trajectory is going where we see it currently, I'm going to say the most important player of the Yankees' future and now is actually Ben Rice.
That's fair.
Believe it or not. Because the reason I say that, I think if he's as good as they think he is, he's actually the first baseman of the future. I wouldn't put him behind the plate. I just think there's too much potential there offensively, and I protect him, right? I look at him like kind of like Joe Mauer, right? If I could have had Joe Mauer from behind the plate and instead made him a full-time first baseman, how long does Joe Mauer play for Minnesota? What type of career does he have? Does he have 3,000 hits in Minnesota? Probably, right? And so I'm trying to protect the bat. Obviously, I'm getting a little bit creative here, and there are a lot of people who say you've said you want to move Judge to first base, or maybe a Cody Bellinger, you resign him, he goes to first. But I love the fact that Ross is projecting some confidence here, because when you mention he's untouchable, you don't see this type of performance, not potential, performance. Cam Schlittler's not a prospect right now that has still a ton of development to make. Cam Schlittler, if he gave us this consistently, that's a dominant pitcher in the league. It just has to be sustained. So, Ross, I'm with you 100% on that. I have no idea with Spencer Jones, just due to fit, positionally, outfield, how important is an outfielder to this team. I don't think personally it's as important as what Cam Schlittler is providing.
And Barack Oganja, what a name. Spencer Jones does not fit on this team. We don't have enough time for him to figure it out like Dominguez. We're in win now for this core. Keep Schlittler and Rice. Everyone else gone for Skeens. See, I don't agree with this, because I think Spencer Jones, his defense is heavily underrated. His base running is heavily underrated, okay? And his bat-to-ball skills are heavily underrated. Because all people think of with Spencer Jones is that he's just this slugger. He's just this power hitter because he has 32 home runs in the minors. Spencer Jones, and I said this, has changed his approach. Actually, I'll go a step further. He was so focused on contact, I don't think, like, that's why you didn't really see the power, right? Because he was so focused on spraying a ball the opposite field. And he did that against Double-A pitching. So against the best of the best in the minors, he worked on just bat-to-ball contact, a true hit tool, if you will. And now he's confident, he's comfortable. We're starting to see him actually lift the ball again. I think this is a guy who the sky's kind of the limit as far as the power. I swear to you, I see Kyle Schwarber level power. I see those numbers. And I think he can be like a Kyle Schwarber power guy and numbers guy, but then be a fielder that is in the 80th to 90th percentile on Savant. That's what we're talking about with Spencer Jones. I want people to understand that. And people will say, well, he's old. He's 24. Ben Rice is 26. So, like,
I think people agree with you, though. It's not about how good Spencer Jones will be. I don't even think that's really the concept that they're trying to get at. Because, mind you, I want to see Spencer Jones, and I'm in full agreement with you there. Full agreement. But I'm trying to look at Spencer Jones and say, who are you replacing, and do we have that now? No, we don't have some of the things you described. We don't have Kyle Schwarber in the outfield with 40-plus home run potential with great defense, right? Who can also run. We don't necessarily have that, but we do still have Cody Bellinger. We do still potentially have Trent Grisham, right? And those could be long-term things. The Yankees do have options. Like if the Yankees ended up with Trent Grisham in your outfield, Cody Bellinger and Aaron Judge, is there necessarily, I'm not saying a fit, because there's always a fit for a future star if it were to be had in the outfield with that deployment, but is it a need? And so what some people are looking at, they feel like the Yankees start the season and they have a great outfield, but they look in the infield and go, who are these guys? Or they go in and say, I like the position players, but man, bringing in a Paul Skeens, it's more so about we're great over here. We can also kind of fix the fender over there by bringing in some talent. So I agree with you. I'm not looking at this roster right now and saying what's the mega splash we can make, but the outfield is really good for the Yankees. I like our outfield. I do. And I even like Jason Dominguez. I just don't like Jason Dominguez as much as our really good options we currently have. So I think that's part of why some people are looking at it and saying, do we really need another outfielder as great as he may be?
No, and I get that, but I definitely want to see it through with Spencer Jones. I think Jason Dominguez, as painful as it is, because I do really like him, I just don't think he makes a lot of sense because he's not a good fielder. And you can't have a guy in the outfield who's a liability when you have other guys who aren't a liability. You can't be like, oh yeah, he's going to play. He's not going to have a lick of power anymore, but he's going to hit like 250, 260, a 770 OPS, and he's going to give you a terrible glove. Well,
Yes.
Now I have to replace him in the seventh inning every single game, which is what they did to start the year. And it's like, really, when you think about it, as much as the 22-year-old aspect of it gets pushed around, it's not a 22-year-old shortstop. It's not a 22-year-old catcher. It's a 22-year-old outfielder.
Yes.
Outfielders are plenty. There's so many out there. However, right, if he's hitting 250, 260, he's 22, he is a really athletic player, and he's shown the potential to have pop, even though he hasn't really shown that this year. He's shown it in the past. There's a team out there that would be willing to move an arm to get this player. And I do believe that team is the Minnesota Twins. And I think the Twins would be willing to move Joe Ryan. But in return, it would cost Jason Dominguez. It might cost... I don't think that they're going to trade Lombard Jr. I think he and Spencer Jones...
I think they would if you're going to get Joe Ryan. But...
Well, no, because I think they would have done it at the deadline.
Maybe, but I mean, we just don't know what was on the table. We have no idea.
That's true.
But I'm going to say this. Obviously, Tyler, thank you for the super. We're going to get to that. So your adjustment is you want to see it with Spencer Jones. Your adjustment is replace that conversation with Jason Dominguez. Replace it with him. Essentially go into next year's team, you resign all the players we've talked about, but the role you saw from Jason Dominguez, put Spencer Jones into it. More potential. There just is. I know we've been talking about the Martian since he was 16 years old, but that doesn't mean anything at the big league level. He's a good, not great player. Now, he, I guess, could be a great player down the road, but it's not a great glove. The glove's bad. I know it wasn't a huge problem today, but again, you're essentially just saying, I want to kind of flip over the pillow here, get a fresh start with this prospect, and you think he'll be better, which I don't have a problem with that at all. Tyler Perry, Loved you,
Tyler.
and Medea goes to jail. Thank you for the 5. Says, love the show, guys, and congratulations on the 10K. Tyler, we really appreciate that. We are very excited about it as well. I know Jake and I were both. I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning hitting the refresh, and it was at 9,999 and just wouldn't go to 10K. And then I woke up, it was at 10,019. It was still great, but
Yeah. No,
I wanted to take the screenshot at 10,000. Could you blame me?
Yeah, I missed it. I realized that that's really hard to time, so I just no longer care about that. I just want to see it go by, you know?
I tried. I watched a movie with the wife, and at the very end of it, she's like, what are you doing? You're not going to bed? I'm like, no, I got to see. And I'm like, look, I'm at 9,098. Look at this. And it didn't happen for me. But in the morning we did, but we really appreciate that. Tyler, thank you for that super. And Apex says, imagine with the 2, imagine all this. It's a World Series rematch.
I mean,
the
if
DVD
the shoe
would
fits,
be,
man.
I can't see the Dodgers, by the way. I don't see the Dodgers in the World Series. I just don't. I like the Dodgers. I like their team. But, and you guys know, I've given them as much credit as they possibly could get. I couldn't have given them more credit, Jake. I just feel like, God, I just don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see it this year for them. But, and again, I didn't say I saw it this year for us either. But there's no great team across baseball. So I think we're going to look at the World Series, and you're going to see 2 good teams playing each other. 2 teams that are good. More of a World Series where, like, you've got, like, the 2012, 2014 San Francisco Giants team there. It's the hot team in baseball. The hot team is going to win the World Series, and right now the Yankees are hot. Are they hot too early? I wouldn't say so, but this is a good problem to have, Jake.
Oh, man, I'm so tired of hearing that. But, yes, no, it
problem.
is a good problem to have. No, this is what I'll say. If the Yankees take the AL East in the Blue Jays series, they'll never look back. I'm saying that right now.
Okay.
I think they'll build on that momentum. I think they can even win that Red Sox series. That would change my mind on that. Here's the thing. If they take the AL East lead, they're not looking back. They're going to win the AL East. If they win the AL East, they go to the World Series. I have no doubt in my mind.
Okay. I'm going to judge this team. I know we said Houston's important. Toronto's important. There are important series. Obviously, we're trying to run down Toronto. It's the objective here. Boston, who's still behind us, but they've been our daddy all year. If we walk into Fenway Park and we take 2 of 3, I will hop up here on this podcast. So will Willie Downer. And we'll say, this team can win something. It may not be the way we would want it done. We may not trust Aaron Boone when it's all said and done. But you can't write off a team that told you, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. They play a bunch of bad teams, and they did. And they're winning those games. All the other teams in the division are losing those games. And now you go play them, and you start beating those contenders. Don't you deserve your day in the sun? I think they will. And so we're going to see what they do. That series in Boston at Fenway, I would love to go to it. That's going to be, for me, where they make their bed the rest of the year.
The way I see it is this. This is not the Houston Astros of old. This team is, I would say, good, not great.
I agree.
The Yankees have Seattle's number. That's why they have the tiebreaker. I'm not scared of them. You know me, since day one. It's like, yeah, Detroit's a nice story. I don't trust Detroit. I don't like Detroit like everyone else does. Kansas City, if they make it, if they don't, who cares? Boston, again, the only thing about Boston is that they're a tough one for the Yankees. They're a tough matchup. So I look at Toronto, and I just think the Yankees, I think they're better than Toronto. Now, the hope is that the Yankees, they've learned painfully, but they've learned from these mistakes in these games, the fundamentals. They've gotten better. It does appear that they've improved in some aspect. I think it's fair to say, especially at the plate, it feels like an improvement. So this is what I'll say, Gary. They're clearly, if they keep this up, they're clearly going to win the AL. I don't think the AL is that good. And I saw the other day, I think it was yesterday, and we've been saying this all year, by the way, the AL isn't that good. But I saw the other day, they brought up interleague. Someone brought up interleague play and said that the AL is beating the NL's ass. I don't care. I don't care.
Wait,
so,
they look at the AL and actually think that the American League is as good as the National League? Is that what they're saying?
No, they're saying head-to-head, the AL is kicking the NL's ass
Still
when they play each
I
other.
don't even care.
I don't care. I'm
Nope.
with you. I don't care, and here's why. Because the best team in baseball is the Milwaukee Brewers, and it's not remotely close.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, but like, understand, the Phillies, I don't know if they would beat the Yankees. I think that'd be a fun series.
Well,
I
they
don't
also
know
lost
for sure.
Zach Wheeler. That's a part of it. When people talk about all of these teams,
the appendectomy.
I just saw in the comment section they said all these teams are flawed. You're exactly right, but some of these teams are beat up. Xander Bogaerts out the rest of the year. He's going to be there in the postseason. That's the update. But guys, that doesn't help. That doesn't help them go win the NL West. The Dodgers, they lost their closer for the whole year, and they didn't have a good deadline. They didn't. I expect them to. They didn't, right? Obviously, the Padres, super aggressive deadline. Go get Mason Miller. The point here, when you talk about the AL and the NL, my perception is that there are probably about 4 or 5 teams in the NL. I'd be pretty worried to play them. That's a good team right there. Regardless of their record against the AL, whatever it is. Don't care. The AL, on the other hand, the AL is just not that strong, but the Yankees just have to be the strongest of that group. And they have to be the hottest team, which is why I said earlier, Jake, the hottest team is going to get through the AL. It's not going to be a great team. And so you're going to see some good baseball in the World Series. You're going to see some sloppy baseball in the World Series again. And should it be the team's undoing? Hopefully not. You don't want to see that. But you really hope it's not ours, the same way it was last year. So Apex brings up the question with a 2, says, what if we trade Jason Dominguez and Heel for Skeens in the offseason? I would quite literally go to Louis Vuitton and get the biggest suitcase I could and stuff Jason Dominguez in it and ship him to Pittsburgh immediately. Gone. There would be not, first of all, if we put that exact trade into Twitter and we're like, what do you guys think of this deal? They'd probably be like, yeah, is that the starter? Like, oh, you're starting it with Jason Dominguez and Heel. You guys have to remember, Paul Skeens, so far, based on his career ERA, where he is probably a top 3 pitcher ever up until this point. And he obviously hasn't pitched his entire career. He's just starting. Jason Dominguez, you're not going to be able to send a player who hit 250 with not really a ton of pop. He's got 10 homers. He plays bad defense. And Luis Gil, who's a really good arm in this league, super wild, right? So he has this a flawed pitcher, still great. I don't know. I started there. I know, Jake, I know how you feel about this. If you could spin a Jason Dominguez and a Gil to start that package, that's where you're looking. Because you know the name that you don't see in that trade, Jake? You don't see Spencer Jones. So Jake gets his way. I get my way. I get Paul Skeens. I would love that.
Yeah, and I see my thing is Skeens is going to get traded. He just is, because Bob Nutting is just an absolute ignoramus of an owner.
Oh, is that his name?
Yeah.
That's his name, Bob Nutting?
Yeah.
Hell of a name.
There's going to be somebody in the comments section that points that out. But yeah, he's definitely getting traded. So at some point or another, a team is going to have to not only trade for him, but trade for him so no one else trades for him. Because can you imagine if the Red Sox got him?
There's going to be an overpay from, I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
To get Paul Skeens, you're not going to be the only team who's like, oh, I'm willing to get Paul Skeens. If the Yankees are going after him and you're like, here's J-Dom and Heel, their other team is going to say, here's this guy and that guy, and it's going to be equal value. The team that gets him is going to be like, screw the value. What you saw out of San Diego to get Mason Miller, they sent the number 3 prospect in the whole world to go get a closer. They gave up the value. We want the pitcher. We want to go win. That's exactly what's going to happen with Paul Skeens. So I promise you guys, it's going to hurt. No matter who trades for him. Boston, us, San Diego. I don't know. San Diego finds prospects to ship out left and right every year, it feels like. They're like, they ship the farm, and then 3 years later, they make big trades again. So, yeah, Apex, we 100% would make that trade. It's probably just not available to us. So, we'll try. And Dialio, who's been a member for 4 months, we really appreciate you doing so. So thank you for being here. Says, insane to think that if the Miami game from hell and the Williams blown save in Texas went the other way, we'd be tied for first place with another CWS game. Why is this
College World Series?
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw CWS.
Chicago White Sox.
Oh, here we go. Okay, perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you. So yes, technically speaking, if that's the way you look at the season of like, oh, if we didn't screw that game up, this is exactly the conversation we had last year. Where would this team be if Clay Holmes wasn't left on the field to blow as many games as he did? Where would the team be, right? And where'd we go? What would we do if Weaver was our closer all year? Wouldn't the Yankees have probably won 100 games last year in 2024? We probably have a different outlook going into the offseason. Maybe. Maybe Juan Soto says, I want to be part of the 100-win Yankees and not the 86, 87-win Mets. Maybe he makes that different choice. So, yeah, this is a way you could look at the season, but I try not to look at it that way just because it is it'll make you insane. But we appreciate you. And Paul Gold with a 5. And you called this what? This is from Britain, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. It says Britain
British
fan,
pounds.
love the show. There you go, British pounds. So thank you for the 5 British pounds. Love the show. Thank you, Paul. Watch live as much as I can. Now my number one source for detailed Yankees news. Please post link to become a member. Let's go Yankees. So, Jake, I believe you did post the membership link. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. It is
Perfect.
it's pinned in the chat.
Perfect.
So
Perfect. So yeah, you guys can go below. You should see it. If you don't, please drop that in the live chat. We'll try and get you this help as soon as possible. Obviously, our mods have been excellent. So thank you guys. And Jordan Richard with the 5 says trade deadline Caballero is so versatile. Jake loves Caballero in extra innings. Completely agree. Wells keeping the ball in front from going to the backstop saved the day for us. That pick from Austin Wells was gross. That's part of the value in having him back there. Is he a perfect player? No, he can't throw. He's not a perfect hitter. He's boomer bust, which is kind of the style you guys all hate. But there's value in that glove. Even with the ABS system next year, Jake, there's only a challenge system, not a automated balls and strikes. People need to understand that. This is why I think you said you're not giving up on Austin Wells yet. I'm behind you. I think Austin Wells should be given more opportunity, not maybe to just play right away and all that. We're not biting the apple now, but long term, you could easily justify having Austin Wells back there for really hopefully a bounce back season in 2026, and you can get Ben Rice out from behind the home plate and over to first base full time.
yeah, no, Austin Wells, you see the pop there. And again, it goes back to July, August. I know that he is capable of that.
Yep.
No one just has like 2 months, and it wouldn't be 2 months. It would be 1 month, maybe even half a month. But 2 months, there's not like a 2 month wonder.
Is it Jeremy Lin? Was he good for a month?
Yeah, I think it was about a month. 2 months.
He just retired from basketball today. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that. Poor Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad. Anyway,
It is.
End of an era. Linsanity. We'll never forget how crazy that was. Just all of a sudden, random people who had never heard of him before had his jersey. No idea. Anyway.
Yeah.
My thing is that Austin Wells, and this is why I've always gone to bat for him, except this year I just don't. It more often than not, he's shown that he's not really good this year, like with everything he's going through. As far as
I'm sorry, I expected you to go somewhere else with that, and you're right. I didn't expect you to be like, I don't know, he's just not. I thought you were gonna go like something super sophisticated, and you're just like, just not good.
No.
Not good.
I mean,
You're
I
right.
could have, but no. Like the point being is, that I'm not giving up on him for the long haul.
Yeah.
But I do think he's got to get that whole thing figured out. Like that's still bothering him. Like he's playing through that, but I think the nerve damage in his hand, I think it's messed him up a bit. But this is definitely a guy that can be one of the better catchers in baseball. I mean, he's already shown that in the past. So, no, I like him. I like the idea of Ben Rice being there as well to catch. I think also people might not look at it this way since Ben Rice is technically a first baseman. there are cheat codes to building a roster. You only have 26 players, right? So sometimes you have to get creative. Caballero gives you a guy that can play 5-6 positions. Well, the thing that I love is that having a guy like Rice means you don't need a backup catcher. Most backup catchers are terrible. They're horrendous. They're awful. They hit like 150, and they get away with it because they're good defensively.
JC Escara would have been forced to be called up earlier this year multiple times. And JC Escara is a good player. Good player.
I would say JC Escara is probably one of the better backup catchers you could find, but
we would have been forced to call him up just for the simple fact of what happens if Austin Wells gets a stinger and he's got to come out of the game.
Yeah.
Well, you got to have somebody back there to just play backup. You got to have a backup quarterback, and that's the beauty, as you brought up. Ben Rice can go be your everyday first baseman next year, and if something happens, something horrible, where a catcher just got to come out the game, Ben Rice can go throw that catcher's gear on and be out there for 3 or 4 innings. It's not a problem. He's done it. He was developed as a catcher. I love that. I love that because no one's talking about that right now. The actual versatility of having an everyday first baseman in 2026 in Ben Rice, and you leave it there. And in the off chance anything happens to a Wells or even a backup catcher, you don't have to call up anybody. You don't need some catcher from your system to just hog a roster spot. You can give it to Caballero. You can give it to whoever else, another bat, if you want to lengthen that bench. So kind of goes to show you you're even strengthening my argument that Ben Rice might be the most important Yankee of the future.
No, he is. I mean, it's insane, but I think you look at other teams, they don't have that luxury. And when you think about it, like I say this all the time with the 53-man roster in the NFL, I understand I'm not trying to take away a position. I'm not trying to take anyone's jobs away, but long snapper, okay? You're keeping a long snapper.
Yeah.
Even though you could just teach a center how to long snap, you're keeping a long snapper, and you're going to cut somebody who's good enough to make the team, but you're keeping the long snapper so you can't. So I was always of the belief that if you have a very limited amount of people that you can keep, players that you can keep, find cheat codes, find ways to spice things up, be creative. I love being creative. I mentioned sending Ben Rice to third base. Like earlier,
Cody Bellinger helps us do that. I mean,
Cody
you mentioned
Bellinger
moving Aaron Judge to first base. You mentioned maybe a Cody Bellinger moves to first and you open up a spot for Jason Dominguez to be able to play and develop every day. We've talked about all these concepts. Yeah. Players that can play multiple positions, especially when they go for the outfield grass into the infield dirt. How about even more value, going from the infield dirt and then going behind the plate? You don't get that. It's just not in baseball. A lot of the guys who are like, oh, I can catch, right? Like Kyle Schwarber. Is Philadelphia going to throw Kyle Schwarber behind the plate in the postseason this year? Nope. They're not even going to consider it. So it goes to show you the value in what Ben Rice is doing. So I'm glad you brought that up. And Joey Cargo with the 2 says, congrats on 10K. Here's to 100K. And number 28, go Yanks. Yeah, we can't wait for the 100,000. That'll be a great day for Yankees Unloaded. So Joey, again, thank you for that. And Red Devil 041080 recently just became a Yankees Unloaded member. Jake, do you have anywhere on your screen that shows so I can actually give them full credit for what they did?
Yes. That's why I keep the YouTube thing. Well, there's other reasons why I keep the YouTube thing.
Thank you, Red Devil.
So, let's see here. Second deck.
Deck. Really appreciate it.
Field level. Sorry to.
So just kidding. There. So Red Devil, welcome to Field Level. Really appreciate that. And I believe we also had a new Diamond Club member. Isn't that right, Jake? We had one while we were offline. Do you have that list anywhere so we can actually give them credit? Because obviously I will read Alex's super right now. In the meantime, Alex, thank you for the 20. Says congrats on 10K gents. Alex, we appreciate that.
Yeah, we had
thank you.
We had somebody sign up for Diamond when we were offline.
Perfect.
And that was Lisa Brucey?
Perfect.
So
Lisa, welcome aboard.
We appreciate you. We look forward to hearing your voicemails. We only have 2 today.
And if you don't know how to leave the voicemails, Jake, We have it in our profile, right? And where is it exactly? Is it in perks?
Yeah, so it's going to be in the community tab. And in the community tab, you'll see right away, if you're a Diamond member, it'll show the voicemail. It'll show the number. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So you can just call that number. It'll go straight to voicemail. You drop a voicemail. You can even drop it right now. We'll put it up on the show. But we have 2 today. We're going to get to them later in the show. Alex, yeah, go Niners. And I'm just kidding. Go Eagles. But appreciate the super. Really appreciate that. Says Ross Brand with the 2. Do you see Rice more at first base or catcher in 2026? We definitely have answered that. Obviously, we're still trying to get to the supers. Me personally, I want to protect the bat at first base. I know there's a lot of value in having some silver slugger behind the plate. But, Jake, the value long-term, I want Ben Rice to be on his 2 feet, healthy, 10 years from now, as long as, obviously, he continues to develop. So I'm going to go first base. Do you still want him behind the plate? He can clearly do it. Or do you want the fit at first base?
I want him to be a part-time catcher. I don't want to put any stipulations on it, though. Like, if it works out, like, think about this, right? I think the thing that I will say is this. If he was a catcher for the whole year, you are running the risk that, I mean, and think about this, really. You are running the risk he's more likely to get hurt. Yes. And it's already 162 games. You can't be a catcher 162 games of the year.
Nope.
And then think about it. So what you're doing, because you have Stanton at DH, now you'd be like, oh, your day off from playing catchers, you're playing first. So yeah, it's a little different, and it's not as much, but it's still not a day off. You're still moving, you're still feeling the wear and tear. But my thing is, if they find that him playing catcher 60 games a year or 70 games a year gives them the best chance to put out the lineups they want to put out, by all means. I'm just
a little worried. Are there any players do we have any examples? Because, mind you, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I just can't think of a player that, mind you, right? You look at a player I like to model, an everyday first baseman who's just always there. I look at Matt Olson. I look at Freddie Freeman, right? Freddie Freeman he's a dude who plays through injuries. If he's banged up, right? Last year he had the ankle thing. He was dealing with that. But more times than not throughout his career, a lot of the Iron Man guys where you're like, his bat, we need to protect him. They put him at first base because it's a lot easier to stay healthy. Just think Ben Rice and what he's doing offensively. I think a lot of our audience is going to be shocked to see what his numbers can look like. I know if you break it down from a month-to-month basis, you may be able to get a little sneak peek of what it'll be. But Ben Rice hit into some bad luck this year. He just did. He's going to end up hitting 260, 265 with pop. But those numbers, if he was playing every day and he was at a more opportunistic defensive position, it's probably a lot easier to hit as a first baseman than it would be as a catcher. I think we can probably, if we sat down with a JT Realmuto, he'd probably agree that, yeah, I think hitting on a Thursday or Friday or back-to-back games would be a lot easier if I didn't take foul balls off my head every other day.
Yeah. No, that's definitely fair, right? Carlos Santana, catcher, moves to first base later on in his career. It is a demanding position. And unfortunately, it's one of those positions where you're like, man, if Mike Piazza only played first base, I mean, what would he have done offensively if he didn't have to focus on, being a catcher all the time? Like, those are fair questions. I just think, and really, that was just kind of an idea, like, okay, 70 or 80. But the point being is that there doesn't have to be a number. There doesn't have to be a stamp of approval. Like, you should be able to use these guys as weapons. And if you feel like, man, I got a really good lineup today, and I want to activate this guy, but if I activate this guy, then this guy has to sit. And you're like, oh, we have Rice. He could play catcher. Austin Wells is in a slump. So now we got Rice's bat, and say next year he's probably hitting 35 homers or something like that, and he's hitting 270, right? You got Rice's bat at catcher. Then you got Bellinger, right? and say this is the day, like, oh yeah, we're giving Stanton a day because he's 36 next year, whatever. Well, now I have Spencer Jones, Aaron Judge, and Trent Grisham in the outfield. I'm able to just move Bellinger to first, and I keep Rice in the lineup. Do you know how dangerous that lineup still is?
It is very dangerous. It's just, given how they deployed a lot of their flexibility this year, I thought they kind of played themselves just by what people can do, right? They're like, Jason Dominguez can play. Trent Grisham can play. Cody Bellinger can play. And I just didn't think they were making the right choices. So I just like, especially coming into the year, when you have a mainstay bat, and that's what I think Ben Rice is. I'm not really concerned about the glove. He's league average. That's not what I'm paying for. I just like the concept of that guy right there is my first baseman. And he's going to play first base 98% of the time. And if he wants to go behind the plate because, I don't know, Austin Wells is banged up and he's going to be gone for a weekend and Ben Rice can fill in, I'm all for that. I have no problem with it. But just going in there and being like, you're going to split time between catcher and first base, I think that's a lot on your plate as any player, not just young. So Joey Cargo recently became a Yankees Unloaded member. Jake, do we have a verdict on this?
Yes. So this one right here is indeed a second deck member. So we appreciate you, Joey.
Oh, so I see. That's okay. That's how the mix-up happened. Joey, welcome aboard. Thank you for doing so. And Ronnie the GOAT with the 10 says close games like tonight have been a problem all season. Clean defense, solid bullpen would at least get us a 7-5 record versus the Sox, Tigers, Jays, and Astros. That's exactly right. And the biggest thing for us, I think, is going to be offensive execution. Those things are important. The Yankees are going to have to find a way to grind with runners in scoring position. I know it's not sexy. You don't have to hit the home run to be successful in those moments, but the Yankees are going to have to show those at-bats they showed you in the 10th inning tonight. We need to see some of those swings. The Jazz Chisholm 70% swing, the Cody Bellinger pitching wedge to left field, we need more of those swings to execute with bases loaded, nobody out. We've got to put up some crooked numbers, and it's not always going to look like a laser to the seats. So, Ronnie, again, thank you for the 10. And Big Picture Guy with the 2 says New York Yankees are 1-3 games away from best record, non-Milwaukee. TM. What's TM?
What? Okay. Non-Milwaukee tomorrow? 1-3 best record tomorrow? I don't know.
I'm not sure. But Big Picture Guy, appreciate it. We're 1 for 3 in games away from best record. Yeah, I'm just not sure. Teams.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So teams.
And appreciate Ronnie
Thank you
for the super chat as well. Appreciate you, Big Picture Guys. And then we have one last one. Then we'll get to our last 2 voicemails and wrap up the show.
Can't wait for those.
Sakuna, thank you for the 2. Not lined up to face Scoobs against Detroit. Big W.
You know what that means? The chances that we're going to see a left-hander to get Ben Rice off the field is less.
There aren't that many left-handers, right? Like in the
I'm not sure about their
No.
I want to look at the Tigers.
It feels like there just aren't a ton of great lefties in this league. Starters. Obviously, bullpen, that's a different story.
Okay, so they've got Jack Flaherty, Casey Mize, right-handed, Chris Paddock, right-handed, Charlie Morton, my goodness, if you want to, he's right-handed. Jackson Jobe, right-handed, but he's obviously on the IL. So they're heavily right-handed. This is big news. So, Sakuna, thank you for bringing this to our attention. This is big. If you can evade if Tarek Skubal, he's one of the best pitchers in the league. If you can evade that, we're going into that Detroit series facing 3 right-handers. You're probably going to see Ben Rice all 3 days. That bodes well for the Yankees. So appreciate the information. That is big time.
Yeah, no, definitely. So let's see here. Since we didn't have it up, I'll just throw up Cam Schlittler. Boom. Player of the game, Cam Schlittler. How about that? And this is getting better. Not that like we care, because I mean, the results kind of speak for itself. But no, Cam had 8 strikeouts today, Gary.
There should be a bar for mental makeup.
I like
right
that.
at the bottom. Mental makeup, dog.
No, I like that. All right, let's get to supers. You said it yesterday too. You called it voice.
Yeah, they're basically supers. We'll take it. But our diamond
they're
level
audio
members,
supers. There we go.
Our audio supers, diamond level voicemails. Let's roll. I hear nothing.
Oh, what?
No.
Oh, okay. Hold on a sec. So irritating.
See, I'm not the only person who can have technical issues. So
no, I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest of all
off my
time.
back.
No such thing. Anyway,
Angelo, welcome in.
I can't even say that with a straight face. How do people have like crazy egos? I just start laughing at myself. I try to pretend.
You have to be able to laugh at yourself.
I try to pretend for
to.
5 seconds, and I'm like, all right, I'm the biggest asshole right now. I'm gonna shut the hell up.
Yeah, and tech sucks anyway. Who cares?
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Hey everyone, Williams is coming into the game. Hopefully he doesn't blow it. He's been pitching really well. And Cam, what can you say, man? He's just nasty. If this kid ever developed a changeup in a few years, wow. I'm interested to hear what you got to say, of course, before this call is listened to about Volpe's so-called error that many people are saying. I only saw it a couple times. I thought it was a really tough play, period. So I don't have a lot to add. Just want to say, being a Yankee fan when I was a kid, I don't know how old I was, and it was WINS Wins radio, and they had this boom box, and you couldn't really pick up the Yankee games during the day. So, but I tried. I remember walking 2 streets from my neighborhood trying to get the signal to come in, and all of a sudden I hear, Joe Pepitone hits a line drive, and that's all I could hear. I mean, I walked up and down streets. So, yeah, you know, I was a diehard, and someday I'll tell you how I watch TV for the Yankee games. Springfield, Mass, yeah, that was the difference. Anyway, talk later. Bye.
We appreciate that, guy. Yeah, that's all. That was
Volpe
a lot.
play was tough. The Volpe play was tough.
Dude,
I don't blame him at all for that. I don't.
That felt like such a witch hunt. Look, we criticize Volpe as much as anybody. When I saw on social media everybody was complaining about that play, I was like, this is a witch hunt.
Wait, so what's the app again that you use? What's the app that you don't like? Oh, you mean to tell me Guy doesn't use the Gotham Sports app? That's not how he was watching the games back in the day?
No, I freaking hate the Gotham Sports app. It actually makes me angry. I'm going to blow a gasket if I continue talking about it. I hate it.
The Gotham Sports app's probably worse than the antenna TV days.
The
where
Gotham
you had to walk
Sports
up and
app,
start moving your antenna to make it work.
It's literally a public bathroom. That's what it is.
At least the antennas gave you the game right when it was happening. Today, it's like as Angelo puts it, the lag. Jake will text me and be like, "Are you kidding me with that play?" I don't even know what play he's talking about.
Yeah,
No idea what play he's talking about.
I will say, and this is not Gotham getting credit. This is Apple TV. It seems to have caught up when I watched it on Apple TV, as opposed to the Samsung TV native software. Which, of course, there's some people in the comment section like, duh. Like the native software on any TV is going to be slow. You ever try using a Roku TV? That thing is in slow motion.
Airbnb. Yeah, they'll throw a little Airbnb. They'll probably throw a little Roku.
It's
32 inch
lagging
in the corner.
like you're trying to play Call of Duty on a 98 Windows PC. That's what it's lagging like. It's insane. It like you type it all in. It's like like it's so laggy.
I'm either an MLB app guy or I'm on Stream East, and that bad boy is way delayed. Way delayed. And that's, of course, when they force me to do like the whole sign in on a different platform. Then I'll go away from it and do the Stream East deal. But
my dad will correct me on this. But
what's up?
It's funny. Hearing this voicemail brought me back to my dad telling me the story. I believe this is correct. It was North Lake, place in New York. this trip, family reunion. We always used to do this trip. It was like our fall foliage trip. And of course, fall classic, right? We have October, and we have what is it? Yankees postseason. Now, I don't even think I was born yet, okay? And I'm pretty sure they had either it was the antenna or the crank TV. My dad would have to confirm that comment section. You know, the hand crank.
Hand crank? No.
Hand crank.
I've cranked a car window before.
Yeah,
but
I have
no.
too. But hand crank TV, like straight out of that Drake and Josh episode with Dora the Explorer. Anyway, not the point. That was the Tony Tarasco game. They're all watching on this small TV, either hand cranking it or trying to get it, and I think it went out like before. And like that, I just immediately, that's the first thing I thought of was the whole Tony Tarasco, which today, Derek Jeter probably, because that was Derek Jeter, I believe. Derek Jeter probably doesn't have that home run in today's rules against the Orioles.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you're talking about the one to right.
Yeah. I don't. I think today's rules would have stipulated that that was interference. The fan would have been tossed from the game, and
Well, yeah.
that wouldn't have counted.
Well, yeah, of course. It wasn't a home run. So that's the thing. It just wasn't. And not to rip on Derek Jeter. It's not his fault. He hit the ball, and what happens. But no, if in today's game, they'd be like, I don't know what they'd say if he was out, or if they'd say it wouldn't be a home run. I mean,
no.
Come on. Should I just stand in center field when Aaron Judge is hitting and just put a fishing pole over the wall and catch the ball and be like, home run, Aaron Judge? No, it doesn't work that way. So, yeah. And you said we had, so Guy, I really appreciate that. I had no idea. I just learned something. I didn't know there were pull start TVs. That's completely new to me.
TVs had cranks. I'm seeing it in the comment section. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I just thought it was funny because that was something that he had mentioned, and we were just talking about the boom box and all that. But yeah, Guy, we appreciate the audio super chat.
Hey,
this is
Jacob
Kyle
and Gary. This is Kyle Malay. Good win by the Yankees. A stressful win, but good Lord, that was a stressful game to watch. At least Volpe's staying hot, I guess, even though he only had one hit today. But that was a big hit in the 11th to make it 3 runs because, oof, this team is make me drink, man. Even their wins can't be not stressful. But yeah, let's go for the sweep tomorrow. We need to sweep the White Sox. There's no ifs, and, or buts. We got Hill going tomorrow, and he should be good. And let's just do it. And we're 2 games out of first place.
Heck yeah.
Who thought that a month ago? Not me. To be honest, I thought we would be out of a playoff spot. But the American League is so bad that we are clawing our way back into it. But if we sweep the White Sox tomorrow, we're going to go win this division. Like Jazz says, we're going to go win division. I don't know if we're going to win the World Series, like you said, but we'll win the division. All right, guys, you have a good night, and just keep up the good work, and you guys have a great show. Go Yankees.
Thanks, Kyle. We appreciate
Luis Heel, huh? So Luis Heel starting tomorrow. The control has just been out of control. Ball's going everywhere. Jake, I know you're super high on Luis Heel. I mean, I'm high on the talent. He's got to put it together and stay on the mound, right? Give us some length. Keep the ball in the strike zone. Let your defense work. And I know it's not the best defense in the world, right? You got Volpe behind you. Maybe a Jason Dominguez. He might be in left field. Who knows? But you've got swing and miss stuff. That doesn't mean you got to nibble. That's the beauty. If you can look at someone like Cam Schlittler, who was developed as a contact first, I'm going to locate type of guy at 92 miles an hour. Now it's 100. He's not now suddenly hitting corners all day long. he's all over the strike zone. Luis Gil's got to do the same thing tomorrow. If he does it, the Yankees are sweeping, and we've got full momentum going into Houston.
Yeah, that whip has got to go down. It's at a 1.71. The ERA is at 3.75. I think Gil has shown some good things. I think Gil has also shown that he might not be the pitcher that we were hoping he was. And what I understand it might seem too early for that, but the strikeout pitcher that we were used to, he doesn't appear to be that power pitcher that we saw last year. And again, he's also just really wild. So this could also be him just, again, adjusting, revving up. It's been 24 innings. Tomorrow might be the best look at who Luis Gil is in 2025, what he has to offer. You know, he's going to get to probably 30 innings if he goes 6 innings tomorrow. I feel like tomorrow is probably the best look because how many starts is that, Gary? That's got to be like 4 or 5, right?
It's 4 or 5, and he's been
It's
wild.
His sixth start.
We love the stuff, but the thing is, this isn't a stuff contest. This isn't the NBA slam dunk contest where you see just raw talent and it materializes into something. Part of judging a pitcher is, yeah, he might be throwing 100 miles an hour, but where does it end up in the glove? Does it ever even get to the glove? If you're throwing 102, but the ball's hitting a barrel, do we really cover it the same way? Probably not. So Luis Gil's got to become more of a pitcher. We're going to see what he does. Get some momentum. Obviously, a weaker opponent. Chicago's got a few outliers offensively, not a ton there. He should be able to be all over the strike zone. Feels almost like what we said about Will Warren earlier this year. They were talking about confidence. You got to be in the strike zone. Go after hitters early. Get ahead. And if you want to throw that wipeout slider, do it 0-2. We don't want to see you down 2-0 and then call you a strikeout pitcher. Your pitch count's going to be about 140 by the 4th. So I'm looking forward to what he does, how he responds. And guys, if you're looking for him to just suddenly snap his fingers and turn into Cam Schlittler mentally where he just makes adjustments on the fly, it's probably not going to happen, but maybe 6 or 7 starts in, maybe he does start to make those adjustments.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing. And that's what we can enjoy about tomorrow is that Luis Gil is still in his ramp-up phase. So the hope is, he's going to lower that whip. Again, a lot of walks. We're seeing a lot of walks from him. I mean, this is a guy that isn't allowing more than 6 hits a game. He's also not giving you a ton of length. 3 1/3, 5 1/3, 5 1/3, 5, 5. I think that has a lot to do with the limit on the pitch count as well. But the strikeouts, the most he had was 7 back in his second start of the year. Ground balls, he's generating a decent amount of ground balls, which that wasn't really something he did last year.
He's got 12 walks in his last 15 innings of work. That's
4-1.
That's still Vol territory.
Yeah, 4-1-3-5-4. That's a lot of walks. So
ridiculous.
You want to see him clean it up. He has only given up 1 home run. That was back in his second start, so that's good. I mean, he's been good, but I think there's definitely something there where you're like, okay, you can nitpick him. You can. And I think the 171 whip, it's weird to say he's been good because he has. I mean, to be fair, he has been good. He's above average. But that whip is not a concern for what he's already done. It's a concern that, is this him now? Is this control issue? Is this going to be a control issue? That's why we need to start seeing more starts as he ramps it up. He's going to, kind of turn himself into what he's supposed to be. So we'll see, but
he'll be getting crucified. If our rotation and Fried wasn't pitching well, Rodon wasn't pitching well, Cam Schlittler looked more like a project with great stuff, people would be looking at Luis Gil going, what the hell is this? And we don't have that problem right now because our rotations, they're pulling the rope. They're doing their thing right now, and they're actually giving us that length. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, Mo with a 50 bomb. 10K
a 50 buzzer beater? Wow, that's crazy.
Stoked for you both and the unloaded community. Keep bringing it, gentlemen. Mo, we really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Mo.
Much appreciated.
That's freaking awesome. Yeah. I mean, the idea of being at 10K before September, which is literally was our goal, and obviously, because the trade deadline is come and gone, there's not as much excitement, but we still have tons of people that watch. It's because of you guys. Like, we don't get those subscribers if you guys don't watch. It's our daily viewers, the people who literally do not miss a show. Because when you do that, it's now telling YouTube, of course, when you like the button, of course, but when you like the button
and hype it.
Yeah, and then you're consistently viewing it. Like right now, we have 23 minutes as an average view duration. That's absolutely absurd. The average view duration of one user out of our 2,472 views right now, the average view duration is 23 minutes.
It's pretty good in the TikTok era. So we really appreciate it.
It's huge.
I think our goal when we started, I was like, hey, I don't know if I want to build up an audience of like solely, there's nothing wrong with a 20-year-old listener, but I don't know if I want to just like show up to Yankee Stadium and is literally exclusively children watching our show. I want to build a more sophisticated show, and you were like, perfect, because that's what I would do anyway. And obviously I watch your Rams stuff, so that's what we've done. I don't know.
I knew you were a Rams fan. No.
Right. Mo, but thank you for that, man. We really appreciate it. And Alex says, like the butt on. So thank you for that, Alex, of course. And we're going to go back to Donald here with the 2. Says, how about Cam being allowed to finish the 6? I liked what Boone did today.
Yeah.
I did. I liked what Boone did. I can say, hey, even if you want to call it an outlier performance from Aaron Boone, what he did with Bednar, right? Some of those decisions, were there things you can nitpick? Yeah, McMahon's at bat that he took, you can nitpick that. Nitpick the fact that Aaron Boone, they said maybe he bunted on his own. Maybe it was instructed. There are things you could nitpick. But going back to the positive here, allowing Cam Schlittler to pitch the 6 was the right choice. That's absolutely the right thing to do, and it worked out.
No, I agree. And I love the way you said it because, yeah, nitpick for sure. I'll say this, though. Learn from this. When it comes to Ryan McMahon, he should be nowhere near a baseball bat in crunch time like that.
I would agree with you. If only we had Raul Ibanez somewhere on a bench that we could just go get him in that moment, I would love to see it. And by the way, Josh Smith, I do see in the comment section, my man, says, I watch every night, full episode, 22 years old.
Appreciate
Not very
you, Josh.
many young, early 20s, people that want a more in-depth show. That usually comes with age. So, and there's a reason Jake and I I'm over 30 and Jake's getting closer to 30. Jake, it's sneaking up on you. It's right around the
October
corner.
11th, I'll be 30.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. I can't
Hair's
wait till
already
you turn
turning
30.
gray. I mean, look at this. I mean,
It's all right. If Yankees Unloaded keeps growing, we can get you. What do they call them? The hair plugs or whatever you call it. They've come a long way. You can totally fix everything. It's wild. I can even make myself taller. My wife says I'm 5'9". Like I told you guys before, I'm 5'10". But you can make yourself taller. I don't know if I'd do that surgery, but
I was hearing someone. My friend just brought that up the other day. Like somebody that he knows is like, yeah, I'm gonna get the surgery that makes you 4 inches taller.
You know how, first of all, my friends would bring me, honestly, they would just bully me until I undid it. Could you imagine you're 5'9" your whole life and you just show up and you're 6'2"? Your friends would just think you're a joke. You are.
That
and
is
Alex,
so stupid.
with the 2, thank you for that, Alex, says bumping that Chef Boyardee mixtape on the boombox. Oh my God, Chef Boyardee. You're canceled, Alex. Really appreciate
Alex
it.
has been voted off the island, everybody.
Yeah, they do. Mom, they do break your legs. Yeah. I guess from a literal standpoint,
They do.
they break your legs in order to get, and I don't think it's even 4 inches. I think it's 2 inches.
Yeah.
So that is a ridiculous
So if I wanted to be
have.
5'10", that bad.
Well, it might be worth it for me. I go from 5'10" to be able to be the 6 foot. I mean, my dad does that. He's 5'11". He tells people he's 6 foot. So I don't know. Maybe the 2 inches would be worth it for me. You never know.
Yeah.
I'll put on some shape ups. Who knows?
Size is not a skill.
Very true.
Just end of the day. Look at Altuve. Look, I mean, we know he probably cheated, whatever. Shouldn't have won the MVP over Judge, but
Hell of a ball player.
he's still a very good baseball player, and that dude is what, 5'5"?
I think he's 5'6", if I remember correctly. Not very tall.
Okay. Yeah.
But when he stands on top of his money, he's probably 6'12".
Yeah, that's fair.
Pretty wild. But what do we want them to put in the comment section? And by the way, guys, before we go, make sure you like the video. Helps us out a ton, helps the algorithm. I assume you guys have, but I know for a fact we don't have 551 likes. So get on it. And if you're with us on Apple Podcast, drop us a 5-star review. That would be huge for us. Helps push us up the rankings. We would love to do that. Jake, any idea what you would put in that comment section?
Cam Schlittler is him. Or get schlitted on.
Get schlitted on, or Cam Schlittler is him. Tongue twister. I'm going to say the wrong thing one of these days. Cam Schlittler is a very good arm. Probably our most promising that we've got. He's definitely blown past Luis Hill, in my opinion, for excitement on the future. He's got the makeup. He's got that dog, that Andy Pettit look that I've been looking for, and you don't see that in young players around the league. Drop that in the comment section, not in the live, because it'll just cease to exist, and we appreciate you being there. Like the video, go in the comments, drop Cam Schlittler as him, and that's all. Like the video.
Or schlit on him.
Oh, God. Like the video.
No, get schlit on. There we go.
Yeah.